elections, electing constitutional conservatives. Okay, so why won't the incumbent conservatives tell you about this? Okay, here's why they won't. Many of the conservative Republicans, again, I'm speaking from a Republican perspective, they're not very conservative. Yeah. They just say they are. Most conservative incumbents, even, they do not want to risk a primary challenger. I'm going to give you a concrete example, 2 concrete examples of that. Alan West. Alan West is a great guy. He will not say a word about this now, because he got elected with the status quo. I suspect, back in his district in Florida, that, and he was asked this question on camera. Alan at CPAC, a blogger from Red State, asked him on video, and I watched the video, it's on Red State. What would you say to conservatives? What would be the thing that they really ought to do, Representative West, to really change things politically? He said, come to things like CPAC, join a Tea Party, go to blogs like Red State. But he didn't say become a precinct committee. Because he doesn't want you to become a precinct committeeman. Because if he goes to D.C. and doesn't live up to his promises and comes back and all of a sudden all these new conservative precinct committeemen have come into the party, they might vote him out in the primary. Because only about 20% on average Republicans vote in the primary election. So, and we're going to talk about that in a minute too. So they fear that you're going to figure this out and replace them too. And they can rationalize it. You know, look, it's not my job, they'll say. Hey, this is just basic civics. It's not rocket science. These rubes that elected me, you know, most of them don't even vote. What do I care? You know, you know, it's not my fault that the peasants don't know their rights. Too bad for them. That's the way they think. David Schweikert, same thing. In his congressional district, I'm in his congressional district. We're at less than 50% strength in the Republican precinct committee. And he knows it. And he's not going to say a word about this. Because if he doesn't live up to his promise, he made a whole bunch of promises of how he's going to fight for us. He's already stumbled on a few of those promises. And if some guy like me decides to run against him with a whole bunch more conservative precinct committeemen in the ranks, like we get to 100% strength, we can throw him out too. So he's not going to say anything. It's not in his self-interest to talk about this. So it only takes a few hours to become a PC. Right now, to become an appointed PC, you have to fill out 1 piece of paper. And I got some props here I'll go through in a minute. Okay, so why do you want to become a PC? It's where the real power is at. PC can caucus to endorse conservative challengers to moderate incumbents. You can vote to endorse candidates before the primary as a legislative district committee, as a county committee. We've done it on the county committee. We endorsed Bill Montgomery in the primary against Rick Romney, the Rhino. Bill Montgomery had no name recognition, and he won by over 12 percentage points, 10 or 12 percentage points, because he got our endorsement. And in sufficient numbers, you can elect new conservative party leaders. It's extremely important that you elect better leadership in your party. And only precinct committeemen get access to voter vault, which is I'm going to talk about as well. So, again, only precinct committeemen get to vote for the party leaders. If someone leaves the state legislature and he's a Republican or a Democrat, they don't have an election of all the voters. Precinct committeemen and only precinct committeemen give 3 names to the county board. It's more complicated when the legislative district overlaps a couple of counties, but assume that the legislative district is inside 1 county. The precinct committeemen give 3 names to the county board, and then the county board has to select 1. Well, if all 3 names are conservatives, because you have a conservative majority in the precinct committeeman ranks, the county board, if they're all Democrats, let's say they're all Democrats, they have to select one of them, and it'll be a conservative Republican, and that becomes the new incumbent, which is good. So you're in the best position to change the outcome of these all-important, traditionally very low turnout primary elections. And we've got to get the turnout in the primary election. That's the most important election. Okay, so the real ball game of politics is played inside political parties by precinct committeemen. Mere registered voters, they're not in the real ball game. Sorry about that. If you're a registered independent, you're not in the ball game at all, because you don't even have a meeting to go to, okay? And only precinct committeemen, again, get to vote for the party leadership. Okay, so we have about 3,000, I think it's 141 counties in the United States of America. Every county is divided up into precincts. We've got 2,239 precincts, 30 legislative districts, 15 counties. In Maricopa County, we've got 18 legislative districts, and they're divided up into precincts, and we've got 1,142 precincts in Maricopa County. But over 1/3 of them, over 1/3, don't even have one precinct committee. That's pathetic. We as Americans should be ashamed of that. Okay? Not you people in this room, necessarily, but generally, I mean, we're just not involved in politics like we have to be. Our country's in crisis. It's going to go down one road or the other, socialism or back to capitalism. And if we don't do something about it, we're toast. Okay, so again, every precinct, the way it works is, this is for both all the recognized parties. There's 4 in Arizona: Democrats, Republicans, the Greens, and the Libertarians. You get 1 PC for the first 125 registered party voters. 1 more for each additional 125 additional party voters. Actually, and this is not completely accurate. You get 1 whether you got 125 or not. Exactly. Every precinct gets 1, at least 1. Then once you get to 126 registered Republicans or Democrats, then that party would get another 1. Again, only precinct committeemen elect the party leaders, and you get to elect the district leaders, the legislative district leaders. You get to elect your county leaders. You get to elect your state officers by electing state committeemen who go to I'm also a state committeeman. There's other people in the room here who are state committeemen. There's 2 right there, state committeemen, other state committeemen. You get to go and elect the people who then elect the delegates to the Republican National Committee. Okay? That's how we're going to change the Republican Party. There's not enough conservatives in it. Same thing with Democratic Party. If you want the Democratic Party to become more conservative, liberal, whatever, you got to get a majority of the people who think like you in it. We the people are to blame. And again, this is just you know, we got to quit blaming you know, somebody else. We the people are to blame. And I'm guilty as charged, like I said. And this is just some more statistics. I'm going to try to race through this so we have time for questions. Okay, I went through that already. So the big question is, will you get out of the bleachers and in the real ball game of politics? If just 3,600 conservatives, again, using the Republican Party as an example, would get out of the 710,000,